I wasn't trying to hear nothing nobody said. I had the baddest car, the baddest girls, money, trips. I could do it. Power, man. You talking about the early 90s? Biggie? Notorious Big was out. I'm like, shit, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Big guy, I can do whatever I want to do. I like the summer 95. I thought the police quit. What's going on? There's no police around. They just let us do anything.
I tell you lies and it's just so toxic. You lie, I lie too. Girl, I don't love you. You know it's lies when I say it's just you. But don't be mad, boo. I once believed too.
First, let me make this clear. It's DNS Soldier.
And this is Robby Too Fast, and you are tuning in to the #1 podcast in the land with your man, Robby Too Fast and DNS Soldier. Okay? We got a special episode today. Now, I ain't gonna lie now. I wasn't nervous, but I was more excited about the person we got sitting in this chair over here to check out. Y'all can't see until I let you know that he's an Army brat from the Eastern Shore of Maryland. Specifically, I don't know if I'm saying this right. He's from Edithville, and he was raised in Chestertown, Maryland. He is currently a lead advanced certified forensic peer recovery specialist. Good Lord, that's a lot of words.
You know what I'm saying?
Also, he's a mobile crisis peer support specialist for affiliated Sante Group. He is the owner and operator of R.A. Lewis Consulting. If y'all need some consulting LLC, hold on now, let me get it right. If y'all need some consulting, hit him up. We're going to have the link in the bio, all right? He's college educated, of course. He has multiple certifications in mental health and addiction. He's the father of one son, Jawan, shout out Jawan, and one daughter, Ebony, as well as 4 bonus children. I am one. You feel me? The best one. He's the oldest of 6 children. Member of the NAACP. He's been married for 5 years. That's crazy, bro. It's been 5 years. It's wild.
That's what I'm saying. 5 years.
He is a speaker for several mental health and crisis services conferences. Recipient of the governor's citation for his work in addiction and overdose response. Spoke to the Maryland state legislation on forensic reentry. And check this out. He's 50. He knows a couple things. Please welcome Richard Lewis. How you doing, sir?
I'm pretty good.
Hey, man, you sound important on paper.
That's what I'm saying. On paper. That's paper. That's just the last 10 years.
Good.
That's just like
the last 10 years.
That's just the last 10 years.
Good. Sheesh.
Damn.
I basically need my next 10 years to look like.
Actually, the last 7 or 8 years, really.
Damn. How you do that?
Patience.
Man, yeah, I heard patience. I need to get into that myself. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes, you do.
But go ahead. All right, so we read your bio, but in your own words, who is Richard Lewis?
Today, man, I like to think of myself as a husband, a father, somebody who is loyal, someone who wants to be treated a certain way, and I like to treat people how I want to be treated. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just an easy, laid back going guy. I pretty much have been an easy, laid back going guy most of my life, but today, as I get older, like I've always told you, I'm 50.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, I'm 57 now. My whole thing is discipline and peace.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I need my peace today because I've done a couple of things. And peace and being able to take care of my family, doing the next right thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying I don't make mistakes, because I do,
Mm-hmm.
almost every day on a daily basis. But being able to correct those mistakes and not make them again being able to acknowledge when you made a mistake, being able to accept responsibility when you've done something that you know ain't right or something that you need to correct, do that.
Mhm.
So that's me.
Well, speak on some of the mistakes. Why did you go to jail?
Well, they had why did I go to jail? Well, obviously I was arrested and I was convicted for being a drug kingpin
Cut.
in 1996.
Cut.
Was I really a drug kingpin? No, but according to the Maryland statute, I was found guilty for being a drug kingpin. It's nothing I'm proud of, but it's nothing that I would take back either.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because of what I went through before I was charged, convicted, or whatever, and after the fact, everything I've learned, had it not been for that, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair right now. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't have never met your mom or none of that. Had things not happened the way they did, they happened for a reason. And, you know, I went to prison. I was given 25 years, first 20, no parole. Finagled, did some court stuff because a lot of times, man, when you out there breaking law and not knowing the law, and when you finally get caught up, man, I got to DOC and the CO, she was like, well, your release date is 2016. This is 1996. She said, your release date is 2016. How do you start that? You know, how do you start that time? You're like, 2016, it's 1996. I think I'm in a little bit of, I done got myself in a little something. But I didn't do a pity party. You know what I'm saying? I knew my goal was I got to get out of jail. I got to figure out a way to get out of prison. So what I did when I got to prison, man, I just stayed in that law library almost every day. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot. I met some of the best people that I still know to this day in prison, behind them walls. Some of the smartest people I ever met, I met behind them walls. But for me, I actually got good at doing law work and I was able to help others. I was helping other people get out and couldn't get myself out. And that was like, that was pretty difficult, you know what I'm saying? And I did the first time, because I ended up getting locked up twice. I had a 25-year sentence. I did 10 years, 9 months, 27 days. And I put some stuff into the court and the judge ended up agreeing with me and they allowed me to go to a drug program. And that's how I got out. I was home for almost 5 years. I ended up breaking law again, got a violation and went back and did another almost 4 years. That's when I came home the last time and I was like, I ain't doing this no more, because the last 4 years, when I went back after being home for almost 5 years, that 3 years, 10 months I did was harder than the 11 years.
Why?
Because different breed of men that's in prison now, and my eyes had opened up to a lot of the stupidity and a lot of the stuff that I was doing that I knew this ain't me. You know what I'm saying? This ain't, I can't do this no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do something different. You know, you always hear people, I just wasn't a drug dealer. I would like to think that it's the difference between a drug dealer and a hustler. Because anybody can sell drugs. Anybody can go out on the corner on the street and sell drugs, but everybody's not a hustler. I turned what got me in prison, now they pay me. My whole consulting thing, all those credentials and stuff that you see that I got that because of that. So I flipped it.
Right.
And I mean, hey, it is what it is. If there is anything you need to know about forensic reentry, anything you need to know about prison, jails, mental health, addictions. I've been on all sides, and not too many people on this show in the state of Maryland can say that. So generally, when I talk about that, my wife hit me with a thing called subject matter expert, and that's actually really a term, and that's what I got on my resume. If you want to know anything about those specific things, man, you know, like I work in a forensic hospital now. Everybody that comes into that hospital is there because they're coming from a jail situation. They're incompetent to stand trial. They are. So that's what I deal with every day. With mobile crisis, this type of stuff I deal with, and I actually, like I said, I flipped the whole thing. I'm like, what's the word from the war? I parlayed. I parlayed my pain into prosperity. I said, I'm gonna use the same judges, state's attorneys. They got my numbers. They call me. I've done work with them. Same things that put me in prison now. They called me. They need me to help run programs and stuff like that. So let me get them coins.
I need that.
I need that.
Yeah, for sure.
So was that on purpose, like entering into this field based on what you know, or that?
No.
Yeah.
It just, what they say, divine intervention is just that a friend of my brother's who runs the addictions in Dorchester County got in touch with my brother, said, man, what Richard doing now? The guy's like, he's home. He got a little, I was working for Delmarva Community Services, making $10 an hour, working in a house in Hurlock. And my brother got in contact with me. He said, man, you know Donald Hall? I said, yeah, I remember Donald. He said, man, he's got a job he might have for you as a peer recovery specialist. I'm like, what is that? He said, man, just go holler at him. So I went to Dorchester County Addictions and had a sit down with him. I said, man, I don't know nothing about that. He said, your past and what you've been through is what I need in this office. And he hired me. He put me in this place they call Dry Dock, and I met some of the most incredible people. I met a guy named Pernell Flamer, old head, black guy, and another guy named Charlie Rowe. I'm like, what do we do here? And Mr. Pernell, man, he put me on to a lot of stuff, man, a lot of life stuff. He was almost like a father figure who could explain. He actually went through the riots in Cambridge back in the day. He had been to prison before. He had been through, he's seen it all. He used to get high, and he had 20-some years clean. He got his life together. Sharpest dude you ever want to see. I mean, he gonna have that Coogee sweater on and them slacks and that hard shoe every day. Saturday, Sunday, whatever. Flag brothers. I mean, he's sharp every single day, and that's his thing. And one of the darkest, he was a serious dude, man. But I learned so much from this dude, and he was like, what am I supposed to be doing? He said, your life experience. It's gonna be so many people that come through these doors that's gonna want to hear your story, where you at today. And you've got, he said, just listening to you've got a lot of knowledge, because my thing was, I said, I'm working in addictions. I don't get high. I barely drink. If I don't ever have a drink for the rest of my life, I've never smoked a cigarette. I ain't gonna say I don't smoke weed. I haven't smoked weed. I did, but that wasn't my thing. Getting high wasn't my thing. My thing was money. My thing was always money. But some of the same things that I was addicted to, or the reasons why I was doing something, is the same reason why somebody was out there smoking crack. And I learned that when I went to drug program, I got some of the same issues as some of these dudes who hooked on opioids or hooked on crack or drinking or whatever. I'm like, I just did it in a different way. I just went out there and just was wild, and I was addicted to the street life. Drugs, money, women, power. I was hooked on being my nickname, Big Dog. That was my nickname. And it didn't start out like that, but it blew up into something to where you that nigga. I was the only, at the time, I was the only kingpin conviction on the Upper Eastern Shore. Was only on one in Salisbury, and a guy in Cambridge had just got locked up the same year I did. So, like I said, I really wasn't a kingpin, but the state of Maryland said I was. Still to this day, if you Google it, it still say the same thing.
What classifies you as a kingpin?
Quantity. If you had over a certain amount of drugs, of a certain type of drugs, and you needed a co-conspirator, it's a different statute from the federal government. You need several people to make a conspiracy. More than one. In the state of Maryland, they got it just a co-conspirator, which they use my cousin Doc Beck as my co-conspirator, who never sold drugs in the day in his life. But that's the only way they could get me on a kingpin conviction. I needed a co-defendant. So that's how they went down.
So what led you to sell drugs?
Well, it was easy, man. It was a few friends of mine, because it's nothing that I set out to do because I was a really good student in school. Everybody just thought I was graduated kind of not the highest in my class, but out of the black guys in my class, I was up there. Everybody knew I was smart. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the neighborhood knew I was smart. That's Miss Patsy's son. He gonna do this, he gonna do that. But my thing was, I want what I want when I want it. And I seen that it was some youngins out there that I was hanging with, who at first wouldn't let me hustle. Now you going to college, you doing this and that. We don't want you to get caught up. And I'm not trying to hear that. Y'all got the girls, the cars, you got all the slick gear. I want that too. So, push come to shove, one thing led to another. I dabble here and dabble there, and my brother, he hustled with it too. My brother's 4 years younger than me, but he came home from the military. We hooked up because when he came home, he had a connect in New York. He got married to his wife. She from New York. So he like, man, ain't means we buying this stuff from here. Man, I got people up in New York now. I said, okay, here we go. We off to the races. And basically, that's kind of what happened. I was always just a mid-level corner hustler, just like everybody else. Just made a couple dollars here and there. It was dudes that I was hanging with was getting a lot more money, but I didn't care because all I wanted was some tennis shoes, buy a car, chasing girls around, whatever. That's all. Wasn't even thinking about the consequences or going to jail or nothing like that. I'm like, how they gonna catch me? They can't catch me because I wouldn't beat like this, couldn't run. But certain things happen. I ended up getting shot. Behind my brother was always into some shit, and I got into something with him. I ended up getting shot, and I ended up losing the job. I was actually working, had a good job. I was working for Carter Youth Center. Ended up losing that. Like I said, I got shot. I was in shock trauma for 7 days. I got a rod in my hip. You see me sometimes, you seem like I'm limping. I got a rod in my hip. I got a rod from my hip to here, and I got 2 rods in my leg. Now I got 4 metal rods in my leg. I got shot and shattered my femur in half. So, like I said, I've been through a couple of things, but after that, for what really changed that whole situation is when my mom got sick and passed away. And I thought that God took my mother. And so I basically said, I don't give a shit no more. I had I don't care attitude about whatever. I basically took some of the money that I got from the from insurance, bought some drugs, and next thing you know, I wasn't no corner hustler no more.
Mm.
Next thing you know, I was supplying pretty much the whole town. Next thing you know, I was supplying the whole county. Next thing you know, I'm supplying part of Queen Anne, part of Kent, some of Talbot. Like I said, and then it got to the point where I'm only selling to like 4 or 5 guys. I get it, drop it off, and that's it, and they bring me my money. So I went from a corner hustler to, if you ain't have $400, $500, $600, you couldn't buy from me nowhere. Not unless you was already dealing with me, you know what I'm saying? I didn't need your money. I was an arrogant little motherfucker. After I got to a certain level, man, I wasn't trying to hear what nobody said. I had the baddest car, the baddest girls, money, trips. I could do whatever. Power, man. You talking about the early 90s? Biggie? Notorious Big was out. I'm like, shit, that's me. Yeah, that's me. Big guy, I can be whatever I want to do. I like the summer '95. I thought the police quit. What's going on? There's no police around. They just letting us do everything. I mainly, for a town of Chestertown, is only like 3,000, 3,500 people. I made so much money one weekend, I was scared to come out the house. Because I'm like, where is all these people come from? Why are they buying all this crack? And I never looked at it like that. I'm like, man, I knew what I was doing was wrong because I wasn't brought up like that. I was brought up in the church stuff just like y'all. So I knew everything I was doing was wrong, but that feeling of being able to do whatever you want to do when you want to do it and can't nobody tell you nothing. I mean, police, whoever. I felt like I was untouchable until I wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
What's your most interesting jail story? Like maybe one you want to tell or something that just kind of comes to your mind?
Man, I got a million of them. I've seen dudes stabbed up real bad. I've seen dudes get busted in the head with weights in the yard, throat slashed in the yard. I've seen a dude get stabbed up in the shower and run out naked, beating on the glass, waiting for the police to come, and they scared to death to come to help him out. I've seen more than I like to see. I've seen some stuff I like, I gotta get the hell out of here. This is crazy. This is crazy. I've seen dudes almost get killed with a phone. This dude just took the phone off the thing and just started beating the dude with it. And it wasn't all like that because when you go to prison, you can make it big what you want. Now it's a lot different, but just like on the street, I was somebody in the joint too. I made myself, I took that same Big Dog persona from the streets because when I got there, because of who I was, a lot of people already knew me or knew of me or had heard of me or they read the papers, they seen the news or whatever. So I became somebody in the joint. I got a position in the joint where I was a clerk, a housing unit clerk, so I could move. I made moves with whoever. I was able to move around and make things happen. While doing that, I also played sports. I linked up with some dudes that I still link up today. They like brothers of mine. And whether we all know it or not, I used to play football. I was pretty good. I was really good at one time. Before I got shot, I was really good. I got caught up in school and stopped playing because I don't know. It was just weird, and I should have kept playing. Not saying I would have went to college and played or whatever, but I could have probably. But I went to prison and played 9 seasons and won 7 championships. It was in the championship game 8 years. One thing about prison, people go home. So it ain't like you're playing with the same team. I recruit teams. I recruit people. Put them on our teams. I taught people who never played football before how to play different positions, and we won every year. We was hated. We took a team, the Titans, and played an all-star team that was put together throughout the whole jail and beat them. Because everybody hated on us. They didn't want to be. So then even when they put the varsity teams together, they didn't even put our players on it. You know what I'm saying? Because we would go on the other side and play the other side and stuff like that. But they had no choice but to put me on there. I was like that. I was like that with a bad will. I mean, I'd never played offensive line before, but I was taught from 8 years old how to play. I knew what everybody's supposed to be doing on the field on every play, no matter what it is. And that's my thing. And I also play softball. I won plenty of championships in that too. So I already got a number of championships. Titans and Tigers.
You think DNS Soldier good enough to be on your team?
He probably can play with us.
Probably.
So he have to earn his playing time. You have to earn it. I mean, it's dudes. I played with dudes who were US Today All-American. It's a lot of dudes in my that went to prison, like from Baltimore, different places, who was monsters in sports. US Today All-American football running backs and stuff like that. Dudes that played with the college and played. I mean, we had a dude named Big Ock, man. He played. I was like, this dude is phenomenal. We had some dudes. I'm telling you, we had some dudes. It's like that. My main man to this day, quarterback GDL, he one of the best athletes I've never seen. Left-handed, fast, plays everything. Football and basketball. Quarterback. It just wasn't fair. It just wasn't fair. I'm telling you, it wasn't fair. But those are my good stories. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The stories that I have, the camaraderie with the guys that I met while I was locked up with, because I don't even generally deal with nobody from that I grew up with. I mean, if I go to Chestertown, I just left there, I go to my sisters and that's it. I might see my daughter. Well, I go to the barbershop. If I don't see you in that barbershop, I'm not going to see you. I don't deal with them folks no more, man. You gain a lot when you go to prison, because I'm not going to say that, like, for the first 4 or 5 years when I went to prison, I still was blaming everybody but myself. You know what I'm saying? When I was out on the street, man, I looked out for everybody. When I got to prison, I couldn't get $20 from nobody. So eventually I had to take accountability for my actions. It wasn't the judge's fault that I went to prison and gave me all the time. It wasn't the state's attorney. It wasn't nobody. I was out there pushing all that dope in the community. And that's why I went to jail. They wasn't raiding such and such house. They was raiding my house because I was breaking law and the shit that I was doing. It took me a while to come to realization, which you got to take responsibility for this shit. You did that. And I felt that I did, because I didn't testify in my own trial, but I testified to Doc Bex that he had nothing to do with none of this. So I figured, that covered me. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking the weight for all this stuff right here. But at the time, I'm not knowing that they have to find him guilty, or they can't find me guilty of kingpin, because if they find him not guilty, I don't have a co-conspirator. It was all political. But had I not been doing what I was doing, it would never happen. It's other things that was involved. I was engaged to be married at the time. Had a young lady that I was with. She has since passed on right around before me and your mom started talking. She was a beautiful soul, good person, man. And she stayed with me until she met somebody, and I called her all the way up until the day she got married. While I was still locked up, because we stayed friends, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like I'd done something. Technically I did, because I had 2 babies on while I was I forgot about Juwan and Ebony, that technically, yeah, so I did do some things that I ain't had no business doing, but Yeah, it took a minute, man. I had to like until you accept responsibility for your actions. Okay, I had to become accountable for the shit that I was doing. You know what I'm saying? And I had to grow from that. It took me a minute. I said, you know what, man? I got to start making some stuff happening here. Because once you start losing them appeals and post convictions and all that, and then it looks like, oh, damn, I got to do 20 years in this job. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's it. Trust me, it ain't easy. That first 10 years, 9 months, 27 days, I wouldn't trade it for nothing though. I would not trade that because, like I said, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair today. I wouldn't know half of what I know now if it wasn't for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had to parlay the street knowledge to the prison to back out because, like I said, I wasn't a dummy. I can have a conversation with people in the boardroom. I can go to the corner, have a conversation. I can go in the barbershop. I can go in the courthouse and have a conversation with all different people.
Yeah.
And they would never know where I come from and what my background is. I can sit up and talk all the BS bullshit that you want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Especially sports. Back in when I was locked up, you know, that's one thing dudes do in prison, argue about sports in jail. Man, where Big Dog at? Where all at? He know. I had in the position that I had, I got the newspaper first every day. I'd go front and get all the newspaper, take and bring down the unit. So I'm reading the paper before anybody gets in. So I'm always on top of stuff. Always stayed on top of stuff.
So, like, what are the 3 biggest things you learned while in prison?
The first thing that I learned, and I got these for some old heads, you come to prison with your own paperwork. I didn't come to prison with your paperwork, what I'm saying, and I still use it today. Everything ain't for everybody. And get in where you fit in.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Get in where you fit in. Everything ain't for everybody. Just because I see you, Big Asian, being able to do something, don't mean it's cool for me to do it or try to do what you're doing, because you might know something that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't seen nothing. I don't know nothing, I ain't seen nothing.
Heard. Stamp.
I don't know nothing. I ain't seen nothing. Man, I ain't seen nothing. I don't know what happened. I can be standing right there. Watch the man put a knife right in the man's neck, man. I ain't seen that. Yo, you can get me caught up like that. No, you know. But just learn, man. Everything ain't for everybody. And just get in where you fit in, man. That's some of the most important stuff, man. When you go to prison, man. And if you want to change, if change is your whole thing, you don't want to go back to jail. You have to be able to accept responsibility and accountability for your actions. Because if I went left, I probably might not have got locked up. Had I listened to such, I might not have got locked up. But I might have been dead in a year too.
Sure.
Going to prison just may have saved my life. Because shit was hectic, man. You know what I'm saying? The police didn't even come after me until Gary got locked up, my brother. After he got locked up and sentenced, that's when they put the full court pressure on my ass. Because they knew that he was my muscle. He was my back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just how those, and you named me for a minute, but you never hear me talk about prison. None of that stuff. Because it's not relevant in today's conversation. Biggie said, I don't rap about, in his second album, I don't rap about selling drugs and stuff no more. I don't do that no more. I don't, even when I went to jail, I downplayed who I was and what I was because you never know who's watching you, who's going to try to do something. People think you got something, they're going to try to get you.
Mm-hmm.
So still to this day, man, I could still tell my story without glorifying what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that I was thinking about when you asked me questions. Not to glorify being a big time drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy for me to get that feeling back. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I tell your mother all the time, girl, you just don't know. Not when such a song came out radio, I'd be like, oh my God, I was killing them. I was killing them, man. I'm telling you some good stuff. I'm like, to be able to buy what you want when you want, don't ask what the prices is. Walking Foot Locker with your crew, you get everybody leather star jackets here. That's what we were into the game night. Let's get there.
That's tough.
Yeah.
And that's how we did it. That's how you ain't got no money, you were an husband, and you was with me.
Mm-hmm.
If good one to what shoes you want? And that's how we got down, man. That's how I got down. If you was in my clique, and some people that I guess because of who I am and where I'm from, still to this day, I don't look at it like it, but I know it and I feel it. I still carry a whole lot of respect.
Mm-hmm.
Even the youngins who knew me when they was little kids or parents, everybody looks up to Big Dawg when I come back to Chestertown.
Mm-hmm.
I try to play it off like, oh, they ain't nothing, but everybody, they know who it is or what it is when I'm on the scene or what I used to do or what's going on. And they see now, I done parlayed that. Damn, this nigga still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But he doing it different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's that I can do my best not to get caught up in that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was part of my addiction.
Yeah.
My ego being you that dude, you that boy, you remember when such and such, this and that, and man, it can be a struggle.
Yeah.
So that's why I stay in the house. I stay away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I stay away from whatever, because like I still got, man, you look at my phone right now and you scroll Instagram. It's a lot of big bras on there. They were my friends before I got married. I started following them before I got married. So I mean, that's just I always and like I always been a good side nigga. I ain't never had no problem getting no bras.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never had no problem, especially because when I thought I was somebody, hey, and I used to be a shy fellow until everything came up out of me. You know what I'm saying? Once you get to a certain level and that people looking up, I ain't shy no more. It was easy. What up? What are you trying to do? Is that easy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but you know, no, man.
I'm not feeling that.
Feeling no. Hey, I mean, it was just a name, and you know, they put it all in the papers, Richard Big Dawg Lewis, but they don't even know that the name Big Dawg had nothing to do with me being hustling, had nothing to do with drugs, big drug dealer, none of that. It was all because I was arguing with my daughter mother, and my man Darryl said, man, he was arguing with her, he was barking at her like a big dog. Just that simple.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Buck was like, we're gonna start calling him Big Dog because and it just stuck. Whenever he say something, he calls somebody something, it just stuck, and that's what everybody call him. It's weird, but then after gravitating from that having that nickname and then actually blowing up in the drug game, it kind of fit.
Right. All right, now you gotta get a chain to say Big Dog.
Huh?
You gotta get a chain to say Big Dog.
Nah, I'm gonna stick with that dolphin helmet, that little dolphin thing. I'm gonna stick with that, or something with the Oreos on it or something like that. Maybe the like. No, I'm not doing the like.
Yeah. Is there anything you would let put you back in prison?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling the police. It's easy for me to say that, but I'm not gonna let nobody do nothing to my family.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
Yeah.
Because this is a podcast. People gonna hear. I know people. I'm not letting nobody do nothing to my family. Next question. I'm not going back to jail.
All right. So
I'm on parole.
talk about the day you met your wife.
The day I met my wife, man, look, I was working at Dry Dock with my man, Mr. Purnell, and they told me I had to go to this forensic meeting at Midshore Behavioral Health. I had never heard of Midshore Behavioral Health. I didn't even know what the hell a forensic meeting was. Forensic work group.
Yeah.
So my boss was like, Mr. Purnell goes, but I'm hiring you as a new forensic peer, and he's gonna go with you a couple of times, but after that, that's your baby. Each month you're gonna go. So, I mean, I think I had my butters on. I had probably some jeans on, sport coat, nice button up, smelling good. I didn't have the white beard. I had the black beard back then, low cut. And I just fell up in there. I said, like, I can't go in a half step because I'm with Mr. Purnell. Mr. Purnell's in sharp. He gonna have his slacks on, them hard shoes, Coogee sweater or something. He coming in that sharp.
Yeah.
I got to come in that sharp. I'm with him. So and that's how I met her that day at a forensic meeting at Midshore Behavioral Health. That's the first time I ever seen her. And I was polite and kind, talked to the people. I didn't think that she was on me. I didn't have no clue that she was on me. I just went to the meeting, spoke. I was nice. Next thing I know, she had popped up on the job, at Dry Dock. Kept popping up on the job. His parents said, she ain't here to see me. So, but that's the first time I met her at a forensic work group meeting at Midshore Behavioral Health on her job. I showed up in her spot.
What was going through your mind, like, once you noticed that she noticed you? Like, kind of, what was on your thought process?
Actually, I didn't really know what it was until Mr. Purnell was like, man, Sharon ain't been in Dry Dock. She been in here more in the last couple of weeks. She here to see you. So I just pulled her out and said, you hungry? And we went to Popeyes and had lunch. And we just kicked it a little bit, this and that. She told me a little bit. She had 4 kids and that. At the time, I had recently just got my own. I had broken up with a lady that I was with when I came home. And I'm young. I'm not young. Black man, own place, halfway sharp. And the beards was jumping back then. So, and I was single. Now I was running around with my head cut off. They was hit me around everywhere. Like, who are these people? Because once, like I said, I didn't come back home. I went to Cambridge. I knew hardly nobody. The only people I really knew in Cambridge, I had a couple family members, and mostly the people that I was locked up with. And then the other people that I knew, I met through the lady that I was living with. But after I broke up with her, shit, I didn't know the whole town knew who the hell I was. So I didn't press up on your mom for a minute because I had a lot of other stuff going on. And I ain't even I wouldn't let her come over my house. Nothing. I said, no, we're not doing none of this. She come anyway. I like, she come knock. So time to go. I sent her up out of there. You don't know this story, but I sent her about it at one time. She had nerve enough to go ask somebody, was I gay? This nigga just got to send me. I'm came over there. Hey, I'm coming. Oh, this nigga sent me away. We not doing that. All right, she thought I was gay. Nah, big fella ain't gay. Trust and believe.
Trust and believe.
We ain't crossed that bridge yet because it's gonna be a problem. She like, yeah, but you know, things worked out. She basically was like, after we started seeing each other for a little bit, and she a good Christian woman, good church girl, they call her. I guess she said, we ain't gonna keep doing this. You know, she kind of put me on the spot, and I was like, well, what are you doing? Is just running around chasing women, doing this and that just because you can, or when does that stop? When is you not having fun? When are you gonna grow up and be a man? When are you gonna do something? You know, and I had a lot of hesitation. I spoke with Pastor Tim. I said, man, I made $14 an hour, man. I can't take care of no family with a woman with 4 kids. So I had a lot of hesitation on doing a lot of certain things. So I prayed on it and thought about it. I'm like, I'm in a field that she's in. She knows people. I like what I'm doing. And I really like where people like seeing us together. And everything just started clicking like it was like, this is what's supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? I looked at all the foolishness that I was doing with this girl, that girl, this woman, that girl, and I'm like, it was no upsides. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you just doing that just because. When we weighed the scales, and I ain't gonna lie, she kind of put me on point. Like, look, you gonna be where we? I'm like, was I ready at the time? No, because like I said, I didn't have nothing. I'm like, I mean, what are you trying to do? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm ready for this. But then I was like, it's the best thing I ever did, because I went in the last 6 or 7 years, man. I went from I'm trying to get like the Jeffersons. You know what I'm saying? In the past year with that woman, we went from Federalsburg, where I had never been before in my life till I met her, to back to Cambridge. You got a brand new joint. I got a brand new house, something that I never thought I'd be able to say. I got something that's mine with my name on it. You know what I'm saying? Since I've been with her, I've done other. I mean, of course, when I was selling drugs, I was able to buy cars, this and that. But I actually bought a car where I made all the payments on it, finance. First time ever when I was with her. Always had decent credit, but I've never missed a payment since I've been home from jail for no bill. None, not one. Excellent credit. I ain't missed. I'm not gonna say I have to attribute that to her. It's just certain things that I contributed to myself when I was talking about growth and change and consistency that you was talking about earlier. The most important part of consistency is discipline. You know what I'm saying? I was like, if I can work for 90 cents a day in prison, I can come home and work and do whatever. I can make this little $10 an hour job that I had at first and turn it into whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn how to save. You got to learn how to do this and that. And I did that. I mean, I can't say I'm making a whole lot of money now, but I ain't got action about it for nothing. I got CT6 outside. You know what I'm saying? And I got no truck. You know what I'm saying? So I don't ask nobody for nothing. So definitely people say, how do you get this, or why are you like that? Man, I've been blessed. You can't tell me that my mom hasn't been watching over me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I know that for a fact. This Mother's Day, the 11th, is her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
The 10th, she passed away the day before her birthday.
Mm.
So I know she's been watching over me the whole time, no matter how many mistakes I made, and I made a plenty. You know what I'm saying? But is what you do with learning from your mistakes and not quitting.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And get back up. Okay, this is what and let's just make it happen, man. Let's do this and that. You know?
What was that moment you said that you knew that you were ready to be married?
Moment that I knew I was ready to be married.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, that might have been wedding day. Because man, I didn't know. Man, look, man, everything came so fast. You know, after I decided what I wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
I had got the ring. I think I told you guys that I got the ring. I just never gave it to your mother.
Mm-hmm.
I let her drive the truck. The ring was sitting in the glove compartment of the truck for a few months. They were just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that was then I was like, all right, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
And we had went somewhere and we had stopped at a stop sign. I said, I'm reaching the glove compartment to get me some tissues out of there. She reached in there. I started to go right there. She grabbed it out, and the ring was in the box.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty weird. I just want to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I did it. And I guess once you do that, it's on and popping.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I knew it was on and popping, but I didn't know it was on and popping and popping and popping. Once I did that, she was like, and we get married in March. Basically, we was married in a matter of months. I'm like, we put some wedding together in like 30 days. I'm like, it's like you just already had this written down somewhere, all the people, all this. Yeah, she put that there. I'm like, who gets married in January? I'm like, is this how this works?
Mm-hmm.
So I just sit back and I'm like, okay, this is what's supposed to happen.
What would you say to a couple looking to get married?
What would I say to a couple of you? First of all, you got to make sure you love each other.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you got to make sure you like each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to be able to listen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of shit that your mom say I don't like,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't say nothing until I listen and think about what she said.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's an intelligent woman.
Mm-hmm.
Why is she thinking that way?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking something different, but why is she thinking like that? She's an intelligent person. So let me think about why she's thinking that way
Mm-hmm.
before I say something stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, it's always more than one side. And if sometimes you can agree to disagree, and sometimes you just got to compromise.
Mm-hmm.
All right, why is she thinking like that? You have to be able to compromise. Because marriage ain't for the weak.
Mm-hmm.
We went through COVID when we first got married.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I was like, man, what the hell I done got myself into? We had to go to counseling
Mm-hmm.
because this word, expectations.
Mm-hmm.
You having expectations on your spouse having expectations on you, or what they think marriage is supposed to be, or what they think they want you to be or turn into,
Mm-hmm.
because this is what they think a marriage is supposed to be, or whatever. You can't have no expectations on other people.
Why you say that?
You can't have expectations. You can have, because if they don't follow through with your expectations, then you mad.
Mm-hmm.
That might not be what they want.
Mm-hmm.
or they was looking for, or you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You got to tone down those. Well, I thought when I got married, we're gonna do this, that, and that, the other, this, that, as they used to say back in the day, this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, you can't have your expectations on somebody else.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not fair to that person.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they don't reach those expectations, then you made it.
Mm-hmm.
And them, and they don't even know why. Because a lot of times, if you don't convey, well, I thought you might want to do this, or I thought you like, it's certain things that your mom still wants me to do that I have on my plate. Like she wants me to write my book, but she's not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
It's several people who want me to write, and I just have to get in that mode to do that. It's not like it's something that I don't want to do. It's just a certain mode that I have to be in, a certain mindset. Because if I'm just gonna write some straight fiction, I can do that tomorrow. But to put me in that mindset, to take me back in time, to go through, if I'm gonna write some type of book where it's gonna be some fiction because I'm changing the names, but of my story, shit, I might have to go to counseling. I mean, like I said, in a book like that, to tell my story, I got to go into certain things that I'm not going to do on this podcast. It's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to go through to talk about in this podcast. Certain things that I don't want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I can just leave it and leave you guessing. Like what happened? Because it's a rack of shit. I did a rack of shit, man. Me, my brother, them, we done a rack of shit. Not all good. You know what I'm saying? In and out of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And when you out there, and you go to jail, everybody's a drug dealer. Half of them in there for getting high, the other half in there for raping some little girl or some young girl or doing some shit they had no business doing. A few of them in there for murder, this and that. But it was a few in there who was actually getting it, doing this and that. But man, I don't glorify none of that shit. I did what I did. My life, like I said, had I not done some of the stuff that I've done, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a lot of stuff, man. That to put yourself in that mode to go through, put yourself in that zone. When I went to drug rehab, we had to write an autobiography, and I kind of wrote like a mini book where I actually went into certain things that a lot of times you don't want to bring certain stuff up. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to incriminate yourself. You don't want to incriminate other people. You know what I'm saying? Because, it's a lot of things that you don't want to say, but like everybody doesn't get to be called that dude, or I can make a phone call. I can make anything happen at any time. When I was locked up, it was a situation after I left jail, and I was in a drug program. And a friend of mine that got into some stuff, they sent me a letter. I made a phone call, sent the letter back to squash a beef that was going on in jail. I ain't even in jail no more. I just had to get in touch with the right people, make sure that nothing happened to my peoples. He was hands off. When I went back to jail, did that 3 years, 10 months, I come back in there, older OG type person. I still with somebody. It's a lot of gang affiliation, a lot of gang stuff going on in prison. But because of who I am, it was a situation where somebody came in the unit that I had brung in the unit, and they was gang affiliated, and they was some things that was going to happen to him. I'm like, don't touch him. He my peoples. And the whole time he was there, oh gee, nothing. The day I left, they came after.
Damn.
I mean, that's just who it is. I had that kind of pull.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I don't like it. I mean, it's some serious stuff that goes on in and out of the joint. If you are somebody and you able to make stuff happen, you know what I'm saying? Man, I can tell you some stories, but I can't do this right here. I'm not trying to incriminate myself on, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just know that when I tell you I was that dude, in and out, I was that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like my brother's like, man, I heard him. He's out of prison. He heard me. Yeah, I heard as he was that dude in the joint. Yeah. Ain't no a lot to that. Not that I'm not no killer, but I had influence because I had knowledge and I know people, and everybody likes me.
Mm-hmm.
I need everybody that don't like me, and I've always been able to use that as an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
If people like you, you can do anything, man.
Mm-hmm.
You can make anything happen if people like you. And I still look to this day on all my jobs and everything. Everybody likes me. I make people smile.
Yeah.
If I make you smile, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what does being a father mean to you?
Man, that's a difficult question because I ain't really had a chance to be a father. When I was locked up, man, my son was only 2 months old.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter wasn't even born yet. When I come home, they 10 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
When I leave again, they 15, 14 and 15. I never got to see no first steps, hear no first words, no nothing out of none of them.
Mm-hmm.
So still to this day, I'm still trying to build relationships with my biological children. I spent more time with y'all than I had with my own kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been hard, man. That's been real difficult because, like, I know for a fact I'm not a bad dude, but I still struggle that, like I was just telling you 20 seconds ago, everybody likes Richard but his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a hard pill to swallow. You know what I'm saying? She grew up listening to everybody talk about Richard this, Richard that, Big Dawg this and that, but she didn't get a chance to see that because I wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things I try to convey to them, it's not because I wasn't around like I'm a deadbeat dad, like I just wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like if I was home, I would be around.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't be home because I was in prison because of my own actions. You know what I'm saying? So I've actually had the opportunity to be more of a father figure to you and your siblings
Mm-hmm.
than my own. Like my son be 30 this year, dog.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never raised yo. And he had a lot of issues because of that. And we cool now. We done been through some things. He has some issues, but that's my dog.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Whether he knows it or not, and my daughter too. Man, I'll do anything in the world for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing I won't do for either one of them. I might complain, like why this and that, but I was just telling the mother the other day, like, don't hear from my daughter much unless she wants some money. Hour before we came in here, she just called. Because I rode past her house and blew the horn. She called, hey, how you doing? What you doing? What's going on? You got some money? And no, I really don't. But yes, I do. So it used to hurt me that the only time I would hear from her, still the majority of the time, when she wants something. She wants some money or something. Like, damn, that, like, I'd rather you just call me sometime, just say, hey, what's going on? Or whatever, you know. But I had to flip it. And I just did this a couple of weeks ago, and I said something to your mother. I said, even though it bothers me. It still hurts that every time she calls me, she just wants some money. It's a blessing that I got it to get to her.
Yeah.
I don't just keep telling her no, I ain't got. Sometimes I tell her no,
Mm-hmm.
but the majority of the time, no matter what she asks for, I send her something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a blessing that I'm in the position to, because there was might have been a many a day when she was 6, 7, 8 years old, and she might want to go out and get ice cream or something. I wasn't home. I wasn't ever able to do that.
Yeah.
She might want to go to the park and let's go for a walk, or come to Dover and go to the mall and get some tennis shoes. I never did none of that.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't around. You know, so, you know, they say count your blessings. Most things that I do nowadays, I don't look at the glass half empty. I look at it half full.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I look at the positive side. I try my best to look at the positive side. No matter what's going on, no matter how much I complain or whatever, this has got to be a silver lining somewhere. So let's take that side, and we just gonna figure it out as we go along.
I think you kind of spoke on this a little bit earlier, but what interests you about the mental health field?
Man, really, at the time, nothing. You know, when we was coming up, you know, it was always people that was a little different, and they, oh, that's such a, he crazy, don't even worry about it. You know what I'm saying? Now I know better.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now I know what bipolar is. Now I know what schizophrenia is or whatever. I didn't really know those things until I got into addiction field and found out what people know I'm just addicted to drugs. Some of them are co-occurring. Some of them have mental health issues where they need to take medicine for this. Some people have depression. Some people got anxiety. We didn't talk about that in the Black home.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard anxiety or such and such is depressed or none of that when I was coming up. You know, when I started working in mobile crisis, I got it more because that's what the trainings that I took, suicide and suicide prevention and stuff like that, mental health first aid classes that I took. You learn certain things, and it's not like I didn't know, but I didn't know. You know, so, and today I work in a forensic mental health hospital.
Yeah.
I work on a treatment team with 3 psychiatrists, 2 psychologists, 2 licensed clinicians, a mental health associate, and then there's me. You know, when I first started working with them, I'm like, shit, I ain't got nothing to say. All these people with all these credentials and doing this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I wouldn't say nothing, and they would ask me questions. I'm like, then I would say something, but then it came to a point where some of the stuff that they didn't realize why a person was doing this and that, I knew it and I seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of those, everybody's coming from a jail setting.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those people have been locked up before. A lot of people don't know that prisons are the biggest mental health institutions in the country.
Mm-hmm.
You wake up 4 o'clock in the morning at ECI, the whole compound is going to get some type of mental health meds or meds for HIV or whatever. They're going to get the meds 4 o'clock in the morning every day. You look outside, you're like, God, so what the hell? Where are all these people going at? They calling them up out of the unit.
Mm-hmm.
There's 396 people in the unit. 200 of them going to get meds 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's a lot of things that they didn't know or they seen. And I started speaking up and explaining to them, this is why he's doing such and such.
Mm-hmm.
This is why such and such is acting like this and that. Then it got to the point where, like, Richard, I need you to talk to this person. I need you to do this. I need you to, can you talk to this person? Because they don't have that experience that I got.
Mm-hmm.
They got all the book smarts and can tell you about all the meds and what they need to take, this and that, but they ain't been where I've been.
Right.
Their patients have been where I've been.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it works. That's that's what a peer recovery specialist is. That's how I have lived experience that they can't bring to the table.
Yeah.
I am able to talk to them about certain things that that patient might not tell them, but they'll tell me.
Yeah.
And technically, through the code of ethics that I follow, I don't even have to tell them what their patient told me unless they're going to harm themselves or somebody else.
Mm.
My whole job is built off trust. And one of the things that I do is I teach how to make them not come back and do the same thing over again. And how do I do that? I use myself. I might take the issues that I'm having at home and put it in a group and make it up, or find a video that'll go with it and show them. And then, because I don't do the use, I say I in the groups. So I'm always equal to them, that I'm not better than them or nothing like that. And that's how you build that trust. You know what I'm saying? And it works.
So, what advice would you give a boy to turn into a man?
What advice I would give a boy? How old is this boy?
I mean, like, it don't even have to be age-wise, just, because at least I feel like a man doesn't necessarily matter about the age, just the mental, like, what, you feel me? What advice would you?
It's hard today because a lot of young boys are being raised by their mothers without a father in the home. So where does uncles at? For the ones that don't have that. This is my personal opinion. Some people might not really go with this. I don't even really give a shit because you asked the question. Today, as much as I'm proud of how women raise our boys and look out for them, I feel that today, a lot of these women are feminizing our young boys.
I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where I get where our uncles at. You know what I'm saying? A young boy that's becoming a man needs a man around. He needs to be taught certain things. He needs to be taught about respect. He needs to be taught about manners. He needs to be taught how to respect the woman, respect the mothers, and that type of thing like that. How to be a protector, how to be a provider. I'm not saying a woman can't do that, but she can't do that the same way, because women don't work off the same thing that men do. Women work off emotions. Men work off facts. You know what I'm saying? I was raised by my mother, but there was other men around, and my father was in the military. It's shit that I already knew, that this ain't going down like that. This is how it's supposed to be. You're gonna listen. My father could be gone for a year. Look, I'm leaving. I'm going to such and such. I'm gonna be stationed such and such. You the oldest. You do what your mother say. And if I find out that you didn't, I'm gonna bring that belt out when I get back. This nigga already crossed the line. I'm like, that Korea. My mama said, I'm gonna call your dad and shit. I'm crying and some more shit. This nigga Korea. I'm in Chestertown. He in Korea. I'm gonna call your dad. Shit, I got tears rolling in they scared death. This nigga in Korea, yo. That's the type of respect and stuff that a lot of these young kids don't. Not saying I'm not scared of my father, but I know that what he said goes. Today, I was talking to a young lady, and she said something about it. She got a young son. Oh, he didn't, I wanted to braid his hair. We didn't go because I had to braid his hair. I said, take that little nigga to the barber shop. Oh, no, I'm not cutting his hair off. You don't want his hair. He just doesn't have a choice. He's 4. When he gets older, 12, 13, 14 years old, if that's what he wanted to grow his hair out and get braids, yeah. But as a young, don't put them earrings in his ears. These girls be putting them earrings in them little boys' ears, both of them, stuff like that. Why are you feminizing these little kids? got on wearing plaits and stuff like that till they're 4 or 5 years old. Nah, cut this stuff. Let him be a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, certain things that I like. I ain't with the Crocs and the slides. I just don't like Crocs. Slides, I got slides. I only wear them in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I might wear them out front.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be in public out there as a grown man. This is me
Mm-hmm.
with no slides on at the supermarket.
Mm-hmm.
If I got slides on, I'm in Jamaica or on somebody's boardwalk in the sand somewhere like that. I'm not out. Part of that is where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
I watch niggas take showers with Timbs on.
Mm-hmm.
You don't walk around no prison, that housing unit, with no shower shoes on unless you get ready to get in the shower. You bring your shower shoes with you.
Mm-hmm.
You got tennis shoes on. You take your tennis shoes off, put your shower shoes on at the shower, and then get in.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I've seen niggas in the shower with the boots on because they'd have started some shit. They hear some shit. They don't know what's gonna happen. You gotta be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I never realized. I'm like, why everybody bringing a shower? Why you just not? Nobody's walking around a setting like that with no slides on and no shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never know what's gonna happen. You could be your man. You could be at the table with your man. Y'all playing spades, pinochle, whatever. Your man might have got into some shit with another one of his homeboys that you didn't even know nothing about out in the yard. So while his back turned, you playing cards and somebody walked up and stabbed your man 3 or 4 times. Once you jump up and try to stop that man from doing whatever he's doing to your homeboy,
Mm-hmm.
you leave it.
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna do? With them on, and them niggas got knives and shit. And you don't even know they coming.
Mm-hmm.
Now you on the walk, going to eat, you don't know if niggas after you. You can have to cap all that stuff up or whatever. I didn't see that. I've lived through that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I didn't see. So I'm not saying that just because I go to Food Line, I'm gonna get into some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just certain things I'm not gonna be walking around with no house shoes on.
Mm-hmm.
Only people that I ever seen do that is walking around with beer and slippers and stuff on, and my grandmother now.
Mm-hmm.
When I was coming up, and you go back and look at the photos, black men didn't walk around with pants hanging off the behind and stuff like that. They wore suits.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the black and white photos of the black man of the 50s, 60s, and early 70s, they had dress shoes on, shirts and ties and sport coats.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Nation of Islam, them dudes dress like they dress, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a that's one of the things I respect about them, to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And still to this day, I'm gonna wear them bottles, dog. I might have them in a casket. This might be on my jaw. Make sure I got some fresh butters on when y'all lay me down. You know what I'm saying? But to each his own.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not. I just. A man can wear what he want to wear, and I can have my opinion about it. If he cool with it, his wife cool with it, so be it. I ain't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing it.
Yeah.
I might joke you or whatever like that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's always a little something in the joke that I tell you, the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen things you ain't seen.
Mm-hmm.
And you can never get so lackadaisical.
Mm-hmm.
Off topic a little bit, and the reason why I say that, they got folks going around shooting up churches. They got people going around shooting up clubs.
Mm-hmm.
They got people going around shooting up schools.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be there. You can't be there. You never know what's going to happen at any time.
Mm-hmm.
They got people going in Walmart shooting up. There might be somebody that worked there, employee that been zapped out. You can't get out the store.
Mm-hmm.
You trying to get to your children who's in one section,
Mhm.
you in another section, you hear the shots, you take off running, you slip and fall because you got slides on.
Mhm.
You get back up and you just barely get the chance to get killed trying to get him. And it's not saying that's going to happen, but it can.
Yeah.
I'm going to be prepared for everything.
Mhm.
Best I can. Not saying I won't get shot,
Yeah.
but you ain't going to catch me slipping.
Mhm.
You ain't going to catch me slipping.
Yeah.
You might say something to somebody and they try to slap your head off your shoulder, stand in line at Popeye. Why you up on me so close?
Yeah.
Back up. Watch your mouth. And then they turn around and swing it. I got slides on in that little space.
Mhm.
Nigga done swung on me. I can't get out of the way because I done slipped in the Crocs and I ain't got the piece. I ain't got the sport. I ain't in sport. I ain't in sport mode. The nigga done beat me up in Popeyes. Now I got to call police. You know, it is what it is.
I feel that.
Kind of speaking on that too, my opinion on that, I feel like it's a testament to your character, how you present yourself as well.
True.
Because like, you know, like I dress the way I dress when I'm conducting business, you know. Like I be in the barbershop with the button up and the little boy asked me the other day, he's like, "You the boss?" I said, "Nah, man, I'm not the boss here." But just because of how I carry myself, you know, anywhere I go, I used to dress like that when when I was substitute teaching. I had on the Blazers. A woman asked, she's like, "You the principal?" I'm just but the way that I carried myself and the way that you dress, it carries something with it. Like, you know, people can absolutely they can wear a t-shirt, stuff that's cute. But when you dress a certain way, just based on our society, it holds a weight of how you present yourself.
See you dress a certain way, they're gonna look at you different.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I dress a certain way when I go to work 9 times out of 10. They look at you different, and the patients look at you different. You know what I'm saying? And my whole thing is the patients. My job is the patients. I want them to look at something that they can aspire to. I'm gonna come in there looking good, smelling good, always gonna I saw always get your haircut or haircuts available. Always take a shower. You get up out of here and make sure you get some smell good. All that type of stuff, man. I do a men's wellness class on a couple of different units. And that's some of the stuff that I teach. Is certain things that you need to do as a man to stay on top of your game that you can't let slip. Because self-preservation is the first thing that you got to do to take care of yourself.
Yeah. So, what's your advice to these YNs?
With the young niggas, that's YNs. I ain't really got no lot of fight for them young niggas, man. Them young niggas crazy. I'm scared of them. I'm scared of them young niggas, man. When they call you YN, they didn't just cut the young, the own, and the nigga. Man, I'm scared of them. Nah, but seriously, man, they need to listen. Just because somebody telling you something you don't agree with don't mean they hating on you. Sometimes somebody might be telling you something because they've been through something, and I've done that before. And you don't have to go through that because I already did it. I'm not just telling you this because I'm trying to take your shine or none of that. Like, hey, I'm 50. Young nigga, why is you doing what you do? Why won't you listen? What makes you think that you know everything? Just because you can get on that phone and do a little bit of AI, this and that, and the Google say this and that shit don't mean nothing, man. That don't mean nothing, because for every action there's a reaction. And I was just telling Sharon coming over here, because I be going through it with not the young niggas, the young adults. And I got 3 young adults at the house. One thing they don't understand is that I don't have a problem with you doing anything you want to do as a young adult. If you come to me for some advice, or if I tell you I don't think you should do this and that, and you do it anyway, I ain't got no beef with that. Live your best life. Do what's best that you think was for you. But you handle your consequences.
Right.
those are your consequences,
Mm-hmm.
not me and your mother's. So if you do some stupid shit, don't bring that back to me and your mother.
Mhm.
Because if we told you don't do it and you go ahead and do it anyway, Ray, and then you bring it back to me, then it's a problem.
Right.
Because we told you not to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or we told you, think first. Nah, I don't think that's a good idea. But you know what? You can't. One thing that the young niggas and young adults don't understand, you can't play both sides.
Mhm.
You can't play like you want to be grown and adult. But then things don't go right. You want to be the kid again and run back to mommy.
Right.
That ain't how this works.
Mm-hmm.
You play adult games, you get adult prizes.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready for them adult prizes? You know what I'm saying? But and it's partly me and your mother's fault because if we have no consequences for their foolishness, they're going to continue to do the same stuff that they do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we got to grow
Right.
and start putting our foot down. The Lord. Because I'm going to tell you the truth. If they wasn't girls, they'd be gone. But I got a soft spot for the girls. And they not like they don't, it's not like they breaking law and running around doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
They just doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
Stuff that doesn't make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to have discipline, man. I was talking about, you got to have intentions on doing stuff that you say you want to do and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to do it, man, do it. Do it best. I'll back you on anything that you want to do.
Yeah.
If I think it's right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to be able to handle those consequences. And you got to be able to accept the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
When you mess up, I need to hear that. I need to hear, yeah, I messed up.
Yeah.
Accept that you messed up and I did that. I need to hear it. I don't need it to, what's this? Hold on. What's this? You sent me a text? No. I need to hear your words. I need to hear it come out your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can text and say anything now. You want to play an adult. Adults talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I had to tell them, I said, look, you sleep across the room,
Mm-hmm.
across the hall. Don't text me nothing that you think that I need to hear.
Yeah.
Come talk to me. What I'm going to do? Let me make a decision. Let us make a decision on why you want to do this or whatever, or why this needs to be like this, whatever. Because, like, I want nothing but best for all my kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I want them to learn. But I want them to be able to suffer those consequences, because if they're not suffering the consequences and I'm taking the consequences, what are you learning?
Mm-hmm.
You can keep doing the same stuff over and over again. God, Mommy, Mr. Richard got me. I ain't worried about, or it'll blow over. All I gotta do is act like I'm mad or don't say nothing to nobody. And that ain't how this works though.
Mm-hmm.
Because if my wife is upset and I know it, they ain't gotta deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole thing is peace. I don't want no problems. That's how I live. I don't want no problems. I'm trying to make it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, the littlest, when you're not doing certain things and you not, that I'm like, you ask them, and this is all young, you ask them why.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, if you don't agree, they think you hating.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that come from? Y'all young niggas, where that come from?
I mean, if I'm to be real, I can't speak for all young niggas, but like usually when you hear advice that you don't agree with, you just automatically, it just sounds like that person is against you, or they're not seeing it from your point of view. You know what I mean? Like, we're still naive, you know what I mean? A lot of them people don't think that, oh, that person might have went through whatever they're telling me not to do.
It ain't gonna happen to me.
Yeah, oh, that's a big one right there. Nah, I'm too smooth for that to happen. Or like, I know better. You feel you get cocky or you get comfortable, and then at that point,
That word.
yeah,
I think also everybody thinks that, you know, it's a saying, ain't nothing new under the sun. Everybody think that they have their own individual. This is me. Like, yeah, you do that, but this, man, I ain't gonna air nobody out. But somebody told me like, yeah, you did that, but that's not me. Hey man, look, yeah, look, that's cute. But look, like, nah, man, yeah, I feel like too, in a sense, like, yeah, you know, me and Soldier, you know, he was raised in Florida. He came to Maryland a little bit. You know, I was raised in Eastern Shore, Baltimore for a year. But for the most part, man, as a black man, we got the same experiences. You know what I mean? As a older black man, we got the same experiences, man. We